What up? What up? Welcome back to Locked in the Universe. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, we are back, baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are back, baby. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent, taking care of yourselves. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing awesome again. So, man, it's been a day, and I can't wait to get back with you guys because we got some awesome stuff to talk about. Hopefully you had an excellent weekend. I got some sweet-ass new goggles, man. If you're watching on the podcast, dude, these things can do all kinds of shit. Look at this shit, man. It's got all kinds of stuff. So anyway, hey, check this shit out, my friends. So, again, like I always say, if you guys have anything you want me to cover, please just send it into Lockdown Universe. You can message me on Messenger. You can email me at lockdownuniverse.com. You can, get us a bunch of different ways. So, hey, if you got something you want us to cover, a news story, anything, you can even leave a comment on a previous podcast. I don't care. I check those too. And I'm looking for new stuff because you know what? We know is that Google is filtering shit out. Google is filtering a bunch of shit out, and even DuckDuckGo, there's some reports and theories that Google bought them out, and then there's the dead internet theory that all the stuff that's on the internet is all kind of fake and bullshit. And hasn't been updated since like 2018. So, there's lots of interesting theories out there. Who knows what's real and what's not? But what we do know is that we have the potential to be an alien ant farm, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Could we be an ant farm for aliens? And this has been a long hypothesized theory for millennia. There's movies about it. There's shows about it. The Dome. If you haven't seen Under the Dome by Stephen King, it's based on Stephen King's book, you should check that movie out, or series, I'm sorry, that series out. It's 3 seasons long. It's awesome. It's got Hank from Breaking Bad in it. If you like Hank, he's in it. Plays a major character, Big Jim in it. And there's been plenty of movies, plenty of hypotheses, and there's even a band named Alien Ant Farm, which is a great band. I should have started the show with them on it. But a lot of people might not have heard their songs, except for Smooth Criminal, which they did from Michael Jackson, with his permission, of course. So, what do we know about being an alien ant farm? Is it possible? Well, what would it take for us to be an alien ant farm? First off and foremost, well, what do we do with ants? Well, we look at them. If we have an ant farm, right? We would look at them and we observe them and we see what they do and see how they take food back and forth. Well, I don't know as if we're so much an alien ant farm as we are like a human laboratory and a dissection and utilization farm. On one hand, and I think on another hand, we're an energy source farm on the second. Now you might say, Lockdown, why would humans make such a great energy source? Well, why would any alien need another energy source? Because let's face it, they already have power for their ships. They don't need humans or human energy to power their ships. No, you are accurate, actually. You are correct. They have crystals that power their ships. They have Ununpentium 115, as Bob Lazar stated. They have all kinds of anti-gravity. So they don't need humans to be their alien ant farm or their source of energy. Could we be a source of entertainment? That's possible. Could we be just funny to look at? Sure. You can put a koala in a zoo and just admire it. But I think we're more than that. I think we were actually brought here, and I think that eventually we were found out, and I think that there's a species that's using us for our power, our ethereal power, our spiritual power that they use for our loosh, and I think that there's another entity of beings that are using us for our DNA. So let's get into it, okay? So as you've heard on the podcast, we've talked about loosh energy before. You know all about it. it's the energy that certain beings use off of us as a negative energy that they use to power themselves. It's like a drug, the adrenochrome. Some people might call some of the power that they use the adrenochrome from our blood as a chemical that makes them high, that makes them energetic, that gives them life. Imagine this, okay? Imagine this. That Earth is not just a ball out in space, but Earth is actually a molecule of a bigger being, maybe the solar system. And maybe the solar system is part of a bigger being, the galaxy. And the galaxy is actually a part of a larger network of a cluster of galaxies. And those clusters of galaxies are part of a larger being that's actually a being, that's actually living, not necessarily like a humanoid, but an ethereal or multi-galactic being that's utilizing power from these sources, such as galaxies, such as planets, to power itself. And the entities that are manipulating power are manipulating it for this larger energy source. Okay, so let's take reptilians, right? We know reptilians are negative entities and they are a warrior class species. But let's think about this even in deeper detail. Let's think about it in the cellular level, right? We're getting into like quantum mechanics, as a society, we're starting to learn about it. But let's look at a society and how it forms and how it compares to a cell for just a moment. Imagine that the reptilians, as a warrior species, are coming here for their energy source, being us, our negative energies conflicting with each other to create energy, right? When you hit dynamite, right, with a spark, it blows up. But we use it for a reason. So could the universe be using the reptilians getting our negative energy, giving off the loosh, giving it to the reptilians as part of its galactic plan? And I'm not talking about like a god here necessarily, right? Because I don't really like to talk about gods too much. But if you're thinking about everything has a purpose. Everything from, we look at ants. We're talking about ant farms, right? Us being an alien ant farm being used for energy. We could use ants as power, right? If we consume the ants, they make cricket protein powder. We consume them, we have more power. If reptilians consume our adrenochrome in the blood, or they use the loosh in the loose energy field, then we're providing power to them. All power is not destroyed. It's just changed form, right? It cannot be destroyed once it's been created. It never dies. So when we're looking at, could we be an alien ant farm? Let's look back in time. We know 30,000 years ago that there's cave paintings of aliens coming down and messing with us. Was it the reptilians? Well, think about the reptilians for a moment. They had their time on the planet. It was during the times of the dinosaur. They were conducting all kinds of experiments. So this planet was actually a lab for them. They were creating a lab of all kinds of beings to see what? To see which ones would be the best warrior class? Maybe they were just trying to dominate this planet, so they had all kinds of random animals on the surface while they were controlling things in the center, and they were using it as a lab. So it would have been an actual alien kind of ant farm for its own purposes. And then there was the humongous battle of the Nordics and the reptilians that caused the dinosaurs to die off, right? The humongous crater in the Chicxulub crater in Mexico was apparently, reportedly created by the Nordics exploding a weapon, an Ark-like weapon, like Ark of the Covenant-like weapon to destroy the atmosphere for the reptilians so they could no longer use it. And then we are here. Now, how are we here, right? You have to wonder. Putting the pieces together, We know that from the CIA documents that we communicated with a species on Mars 1 million years ago BC through remote viewing. So if that's true, and we came here from Mars, and we have survived all these years, having to basically recreate history, recreate the wheel so that we could survive again, and continue to create the internet, create all kinds of things, come back from the dead, so to speak, from Mars, then it could be that we created ourselves again, and now we are an ant farm once again, because the species of the reptilians can use us now. Now that their species, their lab is gone, but now we have this new species. Oh, humans are here. Oh, we can use their conflict for our benefit. So all we have to do is manipulate them a little bit, and we get all of the negative energy that we want. See, before we were here, other species were here. Other species that I want to get into in the next podcast were here, that were able to give them what they wanted. Now, we know that there are multiple species battling it out for Earth's dominance and supremacy, right? Earth is like a golden gem, a beautiful blue ball of spirituality, energy, and light that they can use in their own ways. Fantastic. But somebody's got to control it. So apparently there are still Pleiadians fighting for our power. Reptilians basically working with the governments, multiple governments, the German governments and the American governments, to get along. They're getting along. They don't really like each other, but they're getting along. They're allowing us to live. And you have to this basically makes sense. They're allowing us to live because they're using us for their power, for their energy source, for their food. And I'm not saying they're eating everybody, but they've reportedly been eating people. So they're keeping us alive. They're working with our government. Makes sense. So they can kind of keep your enemies close, right? Your friends close, your enemies closer type thing. And they're working with our governments to move our society in the way they want us to. Meanwhile, there's other individuals who want to fight against these factions and not be some sort of alien ant farm. And they are working in secrecy. The government's never going to know about it. Stephen Greer just talked about this, and he was offered billions of dollars, unlimited credit cards in dollars, and these contractors that work for contractors, they're like subcontractors that work for contractors that know all. And Greer was going to go in for a meeting with one of the big colonels or generals at the time. His name escapes me, but when he was going in, these guys came to him and said, "Hey, you don't need to talk to the president." He was going to brief a president, and he's like, "You don't need to brief any presidents. You can just talk to us." These guys are never going to know. The general military is never going to know. The president's never going to know. You need to talk to us. And they said, "Look, come in on our team. We'll give you unlimited bank accounts because we control the technology that controls the banks. We can zero it out through multiple methods. So you can have unlimited money, you can work with us, and you can try to help us in this fight." But Greer said no. He's like, "You guys are exploiting things." He's like, I still want this technology out for the general public, and basically he got blackballed. So he's briefing people that aren't going to ever know about the true underbelly. So are we an alien ant farm? Getting back to the answer. Well, I did a little bit of research, and some people state that this has been going on for centuries, probably millennia. Well, I think we covered that with the cave drawings, cave paintings from 30,000 years ago in native Australia as well as America. Each group and person was taken from a different location according to the map. The alien ant farm is fitted with an environment that aliens would consider humans as electricity, without attention to details like a power station or electrical infrastructure. See, humans can be used for their own power. And they talk about, people occasionally being abducted. And I was doing some research on how many people are abducted, and it's interesting. Some people believe that everyone is abducted at some point. They just don't know about it. Multiple people have reported that millions of people are abducted. How many millions, we don't know. And then the supposed treaty with Eisenhower allowed 1 to 3 million people per year being abducted underneath our supervision. So, have you ever felt like you've been abducted? I've had dreams and events occur, putting me outside of my home when there's no way in hell I could have gotten outside of my home. I've had what you call sleepwalking events as well. Not saying that that's an abduction event, but I've had those, and so many other events. Dreams of flying, feeling like I'm flying over my city. I can see the city, detailed buildings, and then I fly back into my body and slam back into my bed and jolt awake with my big old body jumping up and jolting awake. This stuff, it just doesn't not just happen, right? It's real. It happens to a lot of people, and they report it. So, when we think and we joke around and we say, "Oh, is it an alien ant farm?" It definitely well could be. We just have to look at the details and see what's really going on behind the scenes. So, what else do we know about an alien ant farm possibly happening? Let's take a look. Shall we look at AI's theory underneath Quora? They have these bots that discredit everyone that ever thinks about anything outside of the realm of what they want you to think. Okay. It states, this is an intriguing possibility, although there's no scientific evidence to support the idea that our world is an alien ant farm. Well, this is a bunch of horse manure, right? The evolution and development of the human civilization can be explained through well-established scientific theories and observable laws of nature. Can it, though? Can it? Can it? Where's the missing link? What about Bigfoot? Huh? What about Bigfoot? Where's he at? I don't see him in the evolutionary chain at all, and he's still around. And what do we got? Where the vastness of the universe leaves open the possibility for the intelligent alien life, there is currently no credible evidence that such life forms are directly influencing or observing human society in that manner. The origin and the nature of our existence remain an active area of scientific inquiry, but extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence that has not yet emerged. Well, we know that's not true because we have crashed ships. So fuck off, okay? Fuck off, fuck all the way off. That's what I gotta say. Stating that they're all fringe theories and blah, 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 blah. Well, we got another guy that states, I love this question because I feel that in the absence of gods, this is the second most probable explanation for our existence. I love science and the pure truth of man's discoveries as we evolve. Rather than take the leap to think that we are created by a singular God, I believe it's much more logical to think that we are an extension, experiment, extrapolation of an existing intelligence. Well, we're all part of an intelligence. Our whole planet is intelligence. It's got intelligent life everywhere, down to the microbiome, to singular cell organisms and amoebas, things like that. We know that exists. So we're just larger parts of that. It's just like we're in the ocean. We're just larger whales, and there's smaller tuna out there, and the tuna consume other fish, and they consume other fish, and then those fish consume the bottom of the ocean. They're bottom feeders, and that's not a bad thing. It's just what they do. You got barnacles that suck off the stuff off of the large whale, right? Large whales are filled with barnacles and mussels on the outside of them, and they eat their microbiome crap that comes off their skin. So you see what I'm saying is that although we can say we're an alien ant farm, we're actually just part of a larger microbiome or macrobiome of existing entities that have to feed. And everybody's like, all these people are evil, and all these people. Yeah, well, everybody's got to survive. I mean, even us. I mean, you could say our farms Cow cow farms? Yeah, they're cow farms. Is Earth a human farm? Yeah, probably, considering we get abducted, right? And we get chopped into, and they take our babies, and then they make, hybrids, right? So, I mean, when you think about it, it's just who's the most powerful species out there and who's the most intelligent species and which species can take advantage of another species and keep them in their own alien ant farm. And to wrap this up, I'll remind you of a previous podcast, and you might have to go search it, but it's about a man who was abducted, and during his time, he saw on the ship multiple species and multiple humans throughout different periods of time on the ship. So we're talking about people who were abducted back in like 20,000 years ago, and people who were abducted 10,000 years ago, and 5,000 years ago, and 1,000 years ago. And then he saw other people from other planets that were also abducted, that were frozen in time on this ship. So isn't it fascinating to think that there's smaller ships that abduct humans, and they do their experiments, and then you have these larger ships that have an entire museum of humans on the ship. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then there's ships that have 40 or 50 people that were abducted the same night, all at the same time, and some people can open their eyes, and other people are just stuck there and they can't move at all. And they can look around, but they can't move, and they can see other humans on the ship, like 40 or 50 of them. I'll try to put a link in the podcast for one of those museum ship abductions, because I think that one's really, really good, and I think you might really like it. But next time we're going to talk about there is a mammoth unicorn that was found. I believe a Siberian mammoth unicorn. This thing is like multiple school buses big. I believe they found it in Russia, so I have to pull up the research on it. But the picture of this thing is unreal, and the podcast is going to be fun on it. So we can examine that, because who knows, that might have come from another planet as well. So keep your eyes and ears open. Take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. I don't want you to end up on a museum ship where you can't even move. You can only look around at the terrified faces of other humans. But we got to talk about it. We got to talk about being an alien ant farm, human ant farm, or whatever we are, and decide what we want to do with the rest of our existence, with how we treat the other species on our planet as well. Because eventually we're going to have the energy repercussions of how we treat everything on the planet. Other people, other entities, animals, other species. They're going to look at us and they're going to say, hey, how you guys handling things? Do we want to invite you to the table of the Intergalactic Federation? Maybe, maybe not. So anyway, guys, take care of yourselves. Next podcast, we'll bring you some documentation on that Siberian unicorn, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams, and as always, continue to question the universe around you. Go like, follow, share, subscribe. Love you guys. Peace, love, and light. Lockdown Universe out.